Yep. Hey friends, welcome back. My name's Dan. Thanks for watching this little video. I am joined this morning in my studio by 3 of my 4 grandchildren. There's Lake. Say hi, Lake.
Hi.
There's Tolly. Say hi, Tolly.
Hi.
And there's Izzy. Say hi, Izzy.
Hi.
Okay, so just in case you hear any sounds or voices coming from my studio, that's who they're coming from. I thought this would be a good opportunity to show you. I may not even paint in this episode. Let's find out. But I want to show you what 2 names I could use for this. I could call it iterative painting, or I could call it blobbing in a painting. First of all, here's the image that I'm painting. And as you can see, it's pretty complex, trying to squeeze all these buildings in their proper position. It takes a bit of work. Let me turn this around so I can see what you guys are seeing, if you don't mind, okay? So, my main solution to this problem, how do you squeeze all this information accurately? Either you're going to take minutes and minutes and minutes early in the process and do a drawing. This is one of the traditional approaches, is to take not this kind of pencil, but a piece of charcoal and very carefully do a lot of tongue drawing. Do you know what I mean by that? You know, very, very carefully get everything all lined out, maybe do a little bit of measuring and, you know, erasing, fixing, adjusting, and so on and so forth. That is one traditional approach to getting a complex subject matter on the canvas. That's one approach. That's not the one that I use most of the time. Instead, that is more or less what I do with portraiture. That's another story. Most of the time what I do is I call this blobbing in a painting. Blobbing in a painting obviously is a takeoff from the expression to block in a painting. And why I prefer blobbing as opposed to blocking. When people block in a painting, first of all, the word block has the connotation of a square thing with hard edges. And if you'll notice, most people who block in paintings their blocks tend to be kind of squarish and hard edge. That's the main thing, hard edge. So I think you can't lock yourself in early on. It's not a good idea because you're making mistakes. You cannot get this much information down accurately quickly. So anyway, and if you're blocking in, that's quick and you're probably getting it wrong. So what I do is I blob in. What that essentially means is I make marks, but I don't believe them. I draw lines, but I don't trust them. I make little. I map out the image, but I don't put my weight on that map. Does that make sense? I assume at virtually every step of the process until the very last stage of the painting, I assume that all of my underpainting is slightly off. Sometimes a lot, sometimes a little. So let me now zoom in and show you in one area especially what this actually looks like. So again, forgive me, I'm going to turn this camera around. Say hi, kids.
Hi.
Sweetness. Okay, so here is, I'm going to show you one area of the painting in particular. I'm trying not to make you seasick by shaking all over. Let's take, for instance, this parking deck here, right here. Do you see that? The dark, a very distinctive, I'm picking on that because it's a very distinctive element of the city skyline, is that. Got it? So let's back out. I want to show you what that looks like on my painting at this point in the process. Okay, there it is right there. Okay? Do you see that? Now, I want you to see that I've changed my mind at least twice, but probably 3 times. See these light marks over here? That means at one point in the process, probably with white paint, I thought that this parking deck thing went here. But then after that, as I was doing the next dark layer, I changed my mind. I said, oops, nope, that's not right. And I moved it over here. And one of the main things that I want you to see is that I don't go back and try to erase my earlier erroneous marks. That is really important. And if I back out from the painting for a moment, you'll see that that kind of thing happens everywhere. I'm trying to find a place where it's obvious. That's the most obvious one. But suffice it to say, all of these buildings have kind of migrated, kind of like this. If I had taken a still photo of each step of the painting process, like let's say this dark shape right here, maybe it started out here, then it went here, then it went here, then it went here, then it went here. This, by the way, represents about 5 or 6 layers of painting, or not painting. One of the layers was drawing with a pencil, and again, so the drawing was one layer. So I did wash, pencil, drawing with dark paint, drawing with white paint, and drawing with dark paint. So that's at least 4, probably 5 layers. And all these things have, and they're still wrong. I still don't put my weight down. Even though that's my last guess as to where this parking deck goes. Does that make sense? Let me zoom in here again so you can see it. Even though this is the last layers, this dark stuff, that's my last guess as to where this parking deck goes. I still am not putting my weight down and saying, yes, I'm sure. I'm still refining it. So that's what I call blobbing in a painting. It means basically you put down a mark, but you don't trust that it's accurate. And with the next layer, you make corrections. So I've got at least 4 more layers to do on this painting. 4 more. Each one is going to refine the position a little bit more. And by the way, can I zoom out now? By the way, you know, don't you? Let me turn you around again, one more time. By the way, you know that getting each, in this case, little building, I mean, that might not be a little building if you're walking downtown, but in the grand scheme of this skyline, each of these buildings is small. You know, don't you, that getting each one in the exact right position really isn't that big a deal. That's the kind of quote-unquote mistake that you're allowed to make as an artist. It's not critical. You know, I'm not doing, and sometimes in my life I do architectural renderings for architects, right? Then it's critical. This is not that. So it's not critical. It's what is important is that it's play of light and contrast and all that kind of stuff. But I want to get it, as you know, I want to get it pretty close, pretty darn close, so the people who are looking. While I'm on the subject, let me show you. I'm going to zoom in, turn this around and zoom in one more time. So here's a painting that I did some months ago. I don't know how many, but it's been a while. Can I get that in focus? There you go. And that shows an earlier painting that I did. This one mostly, I think, on location up there on the hill. And see, and there's that same parking deck. Where is it? Oh, right there. That's the parking deck, that grid in the middle. Anyway, so that was one solution. That was one painting. It sold very quickly to a very happy customer, and I was a very happy artist to be able to sell it to them. And in a sense, that's what matters. That they were happy with a beautiful painting of their favorite city, and I was quite happy with that painting as well. So it isn't critical, as I hope you get the idea there. Anyway, I'm going to turn you off now and proceed to do some painting. The next layer I'm going to do is going to be white, opaque acrylics. That's next. Then I'm going to stop with acrylics, switch to oil, glaze the whole thing, and then after glazing, I'll be drawing again with pencil, and I'll really try to get things at that point. I'll try to get things as accurate as they need to be, but even after that, I can still make little tweaks. So there you go. My explanation and example of what I call blobbing in a painting, which I strongly recommend as opposed to blocking in, where when you block in, you lock in, and that's a mistake. Did you get that? I made that up myself. When you block in, you lock in, and that's a mistake. So don't lock in. Keep yourself flexible. And if I may repeat one more thing, that when you make an adjustment, you don't get all anal. Can I use that word? Thank you, Freud. You don't get all fussy and obsessive compulsive and feel like you have to go back and fix what's messed up. No, you just leave it there. It's going to work out just fine in the final analysis. This jittery image actually adds to the overall happy texture at the end of the process. Okay? Okay, good enough. Thanks for watching. I'll be back later today with more, either here on YouTube or on my Facebook, Dan Nelson Art, I think. I should know that, shouldn't I? Thanks for watching. And Izzy has a question. Yes, Izzy, you have a question?
Why can't you just use brown on the trees? I mean, it might look a little bit weird to another. It might look weird that you're not using brown on the trees.
Why don't I use brown?
Yeah.
Like in the photograph?
On the tree.
On this tree up here? It's like purple. I've got purple and blue. Oh, because purple and blues are more interesting colors than brown. Now, in the very last layer, I might use more brown, but it'll be an interesting brown because it's got purples and blues. Can I zoom on this? Yeah. So I think Izzy's talking about like up here in the photograph. It's kind of neutral. Why do I use such crazy colors? That's a really good question, Izzy, and it's because even if I do brown branches, it'll look cool with a little purple and a little blue peeking around the edges. Okay? Does that make sense?
Hey, Big Girl.
Yeah? Do you have a question too, Lake?
Yeah.
What is it? Can I paint another picture? I sure can, sweet girl, and I'll do it as soon as I finish this one. Okay, y'all. Thanks for watching. I'll be back later today.
Bye.